1984, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I can't vouch for any of the other films, but I've always enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I haven't got around to the other ones yet. Have them.
I've heard that Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, they used a lot of footage from this movie, and I've heard it's terrible. So I'm sure we'll do that at some point, you know.
I haven't heard it's terrible.
You haven't? Mm-mm. That one you can watch everywhere. This one was a little bit harder to find, you know, if you're watching it online, I think. Summary for this film: Little Billy witnesses his parents getting killed by Santa after being warned by his senile grandpa that Santa punishes those who are naughty. Now Billy is 18 and out of the orphanage, and he has just become Santa himself. Written by Paul Kamey, who also did Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, based on a story by Michael Hickey, directed by Charles E. Sellier Jr., and what do you got?
Nothing.
It's out there, like I said. I paid for it, so it's on Amazon for $3.99. But it's worth that $3.99. Let's get into it. Cast highlight for this film: we got old Linnea Quigley. You know, in the films we've done, she's came up so many times, and it's always
probably the most talked about person.
I mean, she's always just front and center as a memorable scene. You'll never
always front.
Of course, her tits
sometimes
are out.
Center too. I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah, that's for sure. There was a huge controversy when this film first came out. Siskel and Ebert attacked it. They attacked the filmmakers.
Our X-ray subject this week: the controversial Santa Claus killer movie, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Actually, there have been two controversies about Silent Night, Deadly Night. Even before the film was released a couple of weeks ago, its TV ad campaign caused a furor with its brief depiction of an axe-carrying Santa Claus. The distributor of this film, TriStar Pictures, which is co-owned by Columbia Pictures, CBS, and Home Box Office, pulled the commercial out of release after a week of protests by parents led by a Milwaukee group. Of course, commercials like that usually die out after a week anyway, so thanks a lot, fellas. But there's no question in my mind that the showing of Santa with an axe on free TV and commercials is sick and sleazy and mean-spirited. So let's repeat the names of the people who did it. TriStar Pictures, co-owned by Columbia Pictures, CBS, and Home Box Office. Shame on you. Now, as for the film, I've got news for you. It's worse than the TV ads. Telling a typical mad slasher story about a boy who witnesses his father being shot and his mother being stabbed to death by a maniac in a Santa Claus suit. So now the traumatized kid grows up and is asked to work in a toy store as Santa one Christmas, and it freaks him out. He impales one naked girl on a set of antlers, spears another woman with a bow and arrow, and another with a knife, and yet we even see Santa give one little girl a bloody knife as a gift and threaten another little girl with physical punishment as he sits on his lap. You might think that it would be funny, Roger, or it's played as quite sick in the film. So let me repeat the names of the writer and director and producers of this film. Michael Hickey wrote the film, Charles E. Sellier Jr. directed it, and Ira Richard Barmack produced it. You people have nothing to be proud of, even if you made a few bucks off of all the negative publicity. Your profits truly are blood money. And Silent Night, Deadly Night now has the distinction of joining I Spit on Your Grave as one of the two most contemptible films I've seen. And I don't mean to think it's campy. It really is quite awful.
And a group called Mothers Against Movie Madness, MAM, were brought on the Donahue for a full hour on Donahue to discuss their disgust and the ad campaign, because it's a murderous Santa Claus, you know. The first thing you notice is the wonderful soundtrack. It's great. I love it. Perry Botkins improvised the score. He got a Betamax tape. We kept recording over his own tracks at home, and you got a great soundtrack. This movie was made in a time where it was totally acceptable to just hold your loose baby in the front seat of a car.
I asked my mom and dad. She said that they did it. She absolutely did it with us, and
that's crazy.
What else? Something car seats.
Yeah.
Like I forget what she said. So something about car seats. Like I didn't. We didn't have boosters and stuff like that.
Well, I've seen old like devices for kids in cars that are just like a strap that you would tie onto the kid. So basically, if you got in a wreck, they would just ping pong around on this rope. They wouldn't fly out of the car. But the nuns at this home that Billy's staying at don't really seem to give a shit about his mental trauma. They're not really dealing with how he had. I mean, the scene at the beginning of this movie where this kid's parents gets killed by Santa is rough. It's brutal.
I mean, yeah.
He like fucking tears
that is a
mom's shirt,
scene.
Slits her throat, right? And I mean, and then, you know, they eventually. Did they ever bring his brother back? His brother was the baby in the car, and then they show him a little bit later. What happens to him? He doesn't show up again.
I don't know.
Because at first I was like,
know,
they didn't show me where the baby went. What happened to the baby? Because, you know, they cut to the fucking opening sequence there, and then later on, this kid comes out as being his brother, and he just disappears. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to get lost in a train of thought. Oh god, there were a couple scenes I wish I could. There are a couple scenes in this film that like took me out of it a little bit. The unusual, like unneeded comical stuff. I don't even know if it was on purpose, but there's a scene where Billy's watching a couple have sex through a keyhole, and this guy's like honking the boob, like it's a full honk. And there's a scene where Billy, when he's 10, like cold cocks this adult man who's dressed as Santa Claus. Is he dressed as Santa Claus? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And knocks him toppling over. That made me laugh. And I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but there's a lot of dark stuff in this. And they have a montage when he's working at the toy store. That's like, that was like, you know, it's got this song playing.
I'm looking for the warm side of the door, where the fire's bright and it's burning every night. Everybody will be there and they'll be smiling at me, and I won't need no more on the warm side of the door. My brother's there, on the warm side of the door. He'll call to me the way he did before. There'll be thunder and lightning, but we're safe and sound, and I won't need no more on the warm side of the door. There's always people who love you, that will kiss you and hug you, and it's always Christmas on the warm side of the door. There's always people who love you, that will kiss you and hug you, and it's always Christmas on the warm side of the door. There's always people who love you, they're gonna kiss you and hug you, and it's always Christmas on the warm side of the door.
It sounded like it was like a sitcom. Like, took me out of it. But, you know, the grandpa at the beginning's creepy as fuck.
He looked really familiar. I forgot to look him up.
I didn't even manage to do that. I thought all the death sequences are really effective, especially for 1984. The most memorable scene is, of course, Linnea Quigley's
That's
on the deer antlers.
Yep. It's a great kill.
This is really a modern classic. I think that Billy has kind of got like a Ted Bundy attitude about him. It's one of my favorite Linnea Quigley films, right next to Return of the Living Dead. I can't think of a reason I wouldn't give this a 10, honestly. It's just good. It's good. I love the drunk boss. He's hilarious, but what do you say?
Again, I like the story. It's simple, straightforward. He got messed up in this car scene at the beginning, and it is one of the most brutal things I've seen.
It's fucked up.
It's a Christmas movie, Christmas horror. I like them. The good kills. I don't know which one what
version.
I don't know what edit you've seen. I got the unrated, uncut, or whatever.
Yeah.
Did it have the like old stock footage? Was it like 1080 and then real bad? It really sucks. Like I got the Scream Factory edition, and it's uncut, but the footage they've added in there looks really bad, and it really sucks that we can't get just a good version of this movie. And that's kind of jarring to me. But anyway, it's good kills, and they're even better on the uncut scene, or the uncut version with the bad looking scenes. Like the music. I'm not. I could easily give this a 10. I didn't. I gave it an 8 because I'm not sure if you're too many fans. If you're not a big slasher fan, I'm not sure how much you really like this movie.
I don't know. I think it's one of the best Christmas horror movies
To me, but slashers is my thing. Anyway, I gave it an 8. I definitely recommend it to everyone. If you're a fan of slashers and you haven't, for some reason, seen this, oh my god.
I mean, it's just always been notorious to me because, I remember seeing the poster for this movie in the fucking movie store back when I was a kid. I mean, like, I gotta watch that. That looks fucked up.
Yeah, I didn't watch this until later.
Yeah.
I was probably in my 20s when I first seen this.
Yeah, I know that Bill Moseley is in one of the sequels. The Toy Maker, maybe? I'm not sure. We'll have to check them out.
I own them. Haven't
You got
watched
all of them?
Yeah, I got. Well, the first 2 are Scream Factory editions, and then 3, 4, and 5 is on a DVD set. I picked them up. Haven't watched them yet.
Yeah.
But haven't seen 2 yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into them. Maybe we'll find some hidden gems in there.